What up, everyone? This is the Comic Outlaw coming through with Magnus, and we're doing an Outlaws Corner. And you know, this has been X Men month. We've been dropping issues here and there, and with the exception of She Hulk, we've been doing What If X Men's, covering X Factor, a couple other things, and we're gonna do our Outlaws Corner on the X Men,
Mhm.
of course.
So, I want to start out with do we have Jack Slater, the vacation edition?
Well, yeah, dude, I've been going from here to there in the multiverse. I deserve a little break.
Oh, yeah, it's actually a Hulk t shirt. I don't know if you want to show the
Oh, yeah, sure. Why
little
not?
bottom part. Yeah, it is a Hulk t shirt. Just want to tell you with that. It's just like, oh, I felt I either overdressed or underdressed. Whatever it is, I didn't dress right.
First off, don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
There's
Furthermore,
other reasons to hate you.
of course, I mean,
Yes.
I had to avoid a paternity suit. Like,
Oh, my.
yes, Jennifer Walters from another reality.
Mm-hmm.
I had to disappear to rise up for a few days, and I found myself
Mm-hmm.
by going in between, sharing my deep beliefs with other females of Rise Up.
But we're not talking about her. We're talking about X Men.
Well, indeed, well, you know, I'm a very spiritual man, so I thought
Yeah.
well, come on, all these other people that either advertise stuff or they go on these long tangents about how they want you to pay this and that, where, you know, you get free advice for absolutely nothing. I jump the multiverse all the time.
Yeah, you have been complaining about that a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's my job.
Yes. But I know the first thing I want to talk about with X Men and the Mutants is that it's a surprisingly high ratio of female to male when it comes to the teams. I mean, let's talk about the '90s X Men.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, it had of course Jean Grey,
Psylocke.
Psylocke, Rogue, Storm,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and of course there was like Jubilee and Shadowcat as well. But and they
Well,
have
Shadowcat was Excalibur around that time.
yeah, that's right. It would have been prior to that,
Yeah, well,
and obviously
they also had Polaris that jumped in here and there.
yeah,
Yeah, they had a fair amount of female members. Dazzler came in and out.
yeah,
You know, but the fascinating thing about the X Men is that there's been a lot of women leaders.
yes. Rogue, she was the leader of. Was it the Extreme X Men? She was the leader of.
Yeah, well, I was thinking more. The first woman leader was actually Storm.
Okay.
She took over for Cyclops. They had this battle, this duel,
Mm-hmm.
and she ended up winning without powers,
Yeah.
which I always thought was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, the Storm is just badass. Period.
Well, Scott Summers, he does train real well. I mean, he is buff, but the thing is, like, she's just lived it her whole life. Like once he kind of found himself more in a leadership role, he started training and getting good. But she was always that, so it was
Well,
more natural for her.
yeah, it's natural talent versus built up talent.
Yeah.
Studying and I've been slapped by 4 different Storms.
Okay.
Just thought I'd bring that up.
How many of them had a mohawk?
Two.
Two. I liked Storm with a mohawk.
I'm gonna say though,
It was a good
one of
look.
the times I did not deserve it.
Ish.
No, it was my fault. I did nothing. Does this look like the face of a man that would do something messed up to someone?
No, it does not. And well, I know that you're a Jubilee fan.
Oh, I love
I
Jubilee.
mean, I personally, I'd like to be a Jubilee fan, but she's just so underutilized.
Well, I like Generation X.
Okay.
Since I'm actually going to be covering that later on.
Mhm.
Um, maybe like in the next few months after I finish this X Factor block, because this thing has just become a massive project. So I'm actually going to finish the X Factor, maybe move into a little X Men '91.
Mhm.
But I want to do Generation X because I love Banshee is like, because it's Banshee. I don't know, spoilers. I'll tell you this now. If you don't want to hear this, go like this and then donate us $20. But Generation X is Banshee and Emma Frost. This is where Emma Frost gets her first taste of being a good guy,
Yeah.
and they run this team. And Jubilee's on it. And there's another like a lot of different other characters like Husk.
Yeah.
So you're talking about female characters.
Mhm.
Another character called Skin, who was a Mexican character who had gray skin. They couldn't allow him to have brown skin.
Yeah.
And I'm a Mexican, so if you think that I'm being racist, it's read my finger. But anyways, I really, he was a cool character, very stereotypical though.
Yeah.
Like kind of the way they made Vibe, because
Hmm.
when Vibe came out, he was a spray painting, break dancing. You know,
Well, it was the time.
sure.
They were trying to capitalize on that ideal, I guess I could say.
All he needed was a plate of tamales, and he would have been the
Yeah.
like, dude. They have a DC Comics character called El Dorado.
Hmm.
It's like, all right, we're gonna make stereotypes at this point. This is like a, and I don't get me wrong, I love the Super Friend cartoons,
Yeah.
but they had Apache Chief,
Hmm.
they had Silver Samurai.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They had Chang. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Well,
But
then
yeah.
they had the Mexican version El Dorado,
Yeah.
which he had a cool power set, but still.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me of the X Men, where like it got too big
Hmm.
around, and people always talk shit about the '90s and another. Well, my rings just made my finger bend. You know, people hate the '90s, it's ultra violent and this and that, but the '90s gave us the fantastic Chris Claremont return
Hmm.
for the X Men.
Hmm.
And I know things got messed up later on in the '90s.
Yeah, when Marvel was trying to one up themselves,
Yes.
and the other like the writers of the X Men were trying to one up the writers of Fantastic Four, and everyone. When you're trying to in house one up yourself, it doesn't work.
Well, that and the Onslaught series, and they brought everyone back
Mhm.
into Apocalypse or Pocket Universe by Franklin Richards, who is a mutant.
Yeah.
That's why I brought him up. And they did a Heroes Reborn set. It was just kind of off.
Yeah. And so I believe the Heroes Reborn is now considered an Ultimate Universe.
Yes, and I think it's fascinating since we are talking about mutants. I personally never thought Franklin was going to make it.
Yeah.
Like, I've been reading okay, these guys will sit here and they'll go online and be like, oh, well, that's messed up. He's the most powerful person in the world. He made Galactus his bitch,
Hmm.
you know. But back when I was reading it, my first experience, like exposure to Franklin Richards, besides some of the Fantastic Four comics that I would get here and there,
Yeah.
was X-Men versus Fantastic Four, which I covered,
Hmm.
which you guys should look up because it's very cool.
Yeah.
But Franklin was just kind of this kid that would phase in and out, had like an odd astral projection form,
Hmm.
you know. And I never thought he was gonna make it more than just a cliff note.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later on they made him ultra powerful,
Yeah.
which I don't mind,
Yeah.
but people don't see the perspective from there to here. And I think that's kind of like the problem now with the instant, everyone texting and typing, you know.
Hmm.
It doesn't give you a respect for history
Yeah.
so much.
But yeah, and you said that you didn't think he was gonna make it. Technically, he doesn't because he kind of pops in and out depending if the writer remembers him or even cares enough. A lot of
Well,
times it'd be like, oh, he's playing with his sister who may or may not exist at this point in time.
The sister does
because they forget
exist.
about her. Yeah.
She is cool. I like that she's Doctor Doom's niece. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
Or goddaughter, but I could go on and on about that.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring him up is because he's a lot like these other characters in X Men, where some of them appear and then they disappear.
Yeah.
Like the Sugar Man villain, or
Yeah.
like there's so many different characters that pop up. There was a character called Lucifer.
Mhm.
He was originally credited with crushing Professor X's legs.
Okay.
And he was this weird telepathic creature. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
dude, and he just crushed his legs. That was his claim to fame,
Yeah.
and that was it. And I feel like some of the mutants too get forgotten. I think Deadpool actually did a joke about that with Shatterstar.
Okay. Yeah.
That he was there and then he wasn't.
Okay. And you mentioned Deadpool. Is Deadpool a mutant? He has Wolverine's mutant X gene, which is where he gets the healing factor from. Is he a mutant?
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, because I mean,
He was part of a genetic experiment.
yeah. I mean, the argument really is that he has the X gene that actually isn't really his genetic code. It was added in. But then you have, like, is anybody altered? Like, would then, in some shape or form, Captain America is a mutant because he was altered?
Well, the argument for that too is that in this original Spider-Man, or not the original, But in the '90s Spider-Man animated series,
Mm-hmm.
when the X-Men guest starred, they considered him a mutation, and then he was further mutating.
Yeah. Even though it wasn't a natural, well, it was a natural mutation, but it wasn't his natural mutation. It was forced upon from
Yeah,
that spider.
so it's very interesting what they consider a definition of a mutant.
I mean, more than anything else, Professor X doesn't want Deadpool to be a mutant because just doesn't want to deal with him in any shape or form or be considered, him mutant because then all the crazy stuff he does, it's just like, oh, look at this crazy mutant doing crazy stuff. It's like, the mutants be like, oh no, he ain't a mutant, he's Deadpool.
Well, yeah, and then Deadpool, from where he started out and where he is now, is totally different too.
Yeah.
I mean, he started out like he really didn't have a lot of quirky things to say.
Yeah.
He didn't break the fourth wall. You don't believe me? Check out the New Mutants. Check out his first appearance, and don't just watch the movies.
Did She-Hulk break fourth wall before he did? I know she does it a lot, or at least she used to. No,
she did it, but Deadpool did it. There's other characters that have broke. Spider-Man has broken the fourth wall.
Sure.
In issues. It's just Deadpool became famous for just rambling on and on and on.
Yeah.
And of course there was a run that I do like. It did have Siren in it, the Banshee's daughter, and he was sort of breaking the fourth wall, but not. He was hitting on it. It kind of gave, like, it was more of a stable Deadpool. Like, it was a mix between the tough guy that they based him on because he's a ripoff of Deathlock the Terminator. Let me get. Just so you guys have a visual.
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke.
Terminator. Deathstroke. Yeah, because
sorry, Deathlock.
Deathlock's another character.
Oh yeah, well actually he ends up in the X-Men too.
Is he a mutant?
Nobody ends up part of the Academy in Wolverine and the X-Men.
I'm sure. I mean, that's one thing that I wish the X-Men would do because it's like, oh, we're here to. Well, isn't it gifted youngsters?
Well, the thing is, they accept all people. They like Xavier's not stupid enough to look a gift horse in the mouth. Yeah. Look at what happened with Captain Marvel.
Okay. Yeah.
Binary. Which, if you watch my Captain Marvel one, which I keep referencing, I go over like she became binary. She became the most powerful version of herself because Chris Claremont, again, thought that she got a bad deal in the Avengers.
Which she did. He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, how's that work? This dude from... How can I explain this to the fans without being pervert?
She got dream raped?
Yeah, I was gonna... Yeah. I was gonna do a whole R. Kelly motif, but I guess what you did.
Yeah, no, she got dream raped. It was weird. I felt like... Captain Marvel, nobody really knew what to do with her. She's a cool character as Carol Danvers as a human herself, as being part of the military and the liaison for the military, and supers, and herself being a super, and then also her connection with aliens.
Well, I think she was doing really well, until they kind of screwed her over in the Civil War too.
Yeah, and also they kind of hid her away by having Rogue absorb her powers. Yeah,
I'm gonna say this now too. When they were trying to get rid of the X-Men and they were doing the whole what was it called? The Inhumans thing. They were trying to They were trying to get rid of the X-Men. Oh my God, you guys suck.
The Inhumans are too pretentious to replace the X-Men.
I know, but I'm standing on my soapbox right now because I've been holding this in, and I'm gonna say, Marvel, you guys dropped the ball on that one. You shit the bed. I mean, literally, you guys did whatever you could to get rid of them, and you knew that you couldn't just get rid of something. It's like dumping the Fantastic Four. It's like when you guys killed off Iron Man, and then you guys wonder why your sales slump. And given, DC is in no better shape, they restart themselves every, 3-4 years?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the next reboot where Hal Jordan is some kind of, sex machine from Mars. And he has Batman's DNA, and sparks of lightning come from his fingertips and fireballs from his ass. And, because DC seems to reboot themselves every, 2, 3... And Marvel just
some of them are soft reboots.
Odd turns. Oh, soft reboots, my ass. I'm tired of these soft reboots. Just make a good story. You see, people don't want soft reboots. They don't want... People know the story, okay? People know who Batman is. People watch the movies. They know who
we don't...
Oh, yeah, he's a dude with ears. He patrols a city called Gotham, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Likes to hangs out in dark caves with lone boys.
And then he chases around this clown guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this big fat guy that just wants to make money. Penguin. But anyways.
Talking about big fat guy, the Blob.
Dude, Frank Dukes.
Underrated hero because a lot of people don't quite understand his power set because they just assume he's fat, which is
a
part
villain. I want to see more. Well, he was a pretend hero for the Freedom Force.
Yeah.
Which I've been covering in X Factor. Freedom Force was basically the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. They were pretending to be good guys.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool because it was just a con.
Yeah.
But I thought the Blob was great, dude. Especially in X-Men Evolution.
Yeah. And his powers are interesting because as long as I believe it's specifically both his feet are on the ground. I don't know if it changes if he just has one foot. As long as both feet are on the ground, his body, whatever planet or whatever is creating he could be like an asteroid. Whatever he's on, he is part of its field.
Yeah.
And so, like, he effectively becomes as heavy as it because he becomes a part of it, as if it's one unit. And so that's why he's the immovable blob, because, like, if you try moving him, you have to be able to move the whole world, which Hulk has been able to lift him. Not move him around, but has lifted him. And actually, there is, like, ground or earth, like, stuck to his feet, you know, that comes up with it. Because of this field, he does actually have a force field around him. But even without that force field, his skin is actually very thick. He can take bullet shots from like a 9mm.
I was about to say my first real cool picture I thought about was that Marvel Masterworks was like this, and the bullets were going like.
Yeah,
I thought that was so awesome.
And then also he has some sort of gravity manipulation, but it's for himself. Mm-hmm. So he can effectively reverse his gravitational polarity, and like he could jump super high, like Hulk levels of jumping.
Yeah, that's cool. I always thought that was cool.
Yeah, so
too.
He can make himself super light and super heavy.
Well, since we're on like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, I always enjoyed Quicksilver. I know that he wasn't a member too long.
Yeah. And
he got like a raw deal in Avengers, Age of Ultron.
Yeah. It was weird. Because when I saw it, it's like, oh, he's fine. He has, just like all speedsters, he has enhanced metabolism. He'll heal up. He'll walk it off.
It's like the world of Quicksilver, sort of. Mm-hmm. Because Fox owned the rights to Quicksilver, too, as did... Because it was the X-Men property for the Brotherhood, and then there was an X-Men property for the Avengers.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that split happened, but it happened. And I don't like a lot of things from the Fox series. You've heard me say that. Mm-hmm. Me and you have talked about that.
Yeah.
But I like their Quicksilver better than the Quicksilver from the Avengers, Ultron one.
Yeah.
Granted, he did have personality, but I like the kid.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had more personality than he did.
Yeah.
And I love the whole Sweet Dreams motif.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn what you guys say. Hate all you want.
And one thing about Quicksilver is he really isn't leadership material. He can't get past himself to be a good leader. He tends to go overboard, and he's very reckless.
He's very headstrong. I'll read what, and I do bring this up because I find I've been reading a lot about this lately. In the Age of Apocalypse, he's actually a very good leader.
Yeah. He's
Magneto's second.
Okay.
With Storm as his wife.
Yeah.
And Storm is a temperance for him. Mm-hmm. They're actually really in. And people talk shit about the 90s again. And, the Age of Apocalypse was actually another good series that people talk shit about. It's confusing, it's this and that.
It's confusing, they're not wrong.
It lasted... Oh, yeah.
They have a trade paperback for that. That's like that big if you want to read it.
And again, the Civil War 2, how confusing was that? And then you ruined Miss Marvel. And then you made a movie about her after you ruined her. I mean, I love when these millennials get on YouTube and they're like, oh, well, the 90s sucked, and this sucked. And I could sit here and cherry pick things from like, oh, well, this sucked, and this sucked. Captain America Hydra was cool. Civil War 2, I mean, it didn't even end right.
Well, near the Civil War 1. That didn't end right. It didn't really end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People talk so much shit about the 90s. You know what I mean? And then when people reminisce.
Okay, getting sidetracked again, and I want it because the way they should have ended Civil War 1 is the Annihilation Wave, which petered off also. The Annihilation Wave, which was Annihilus,
I actually like that whole
that
series.
was coming with the whole army, military of the Negative Zone, start at the end of the universe and making a beeline straight for Earth. All the heroes and some of the villains on Earth, Civil War, fighting their big battle, and let's say Captain America and Iron Man's like do their final blow to each other, and then boom, there's the Annihilation Wave, and they're like, we're going to murder everyone. Then everybody has to team up, and it's just like, we can't really be in the Civil War because of stuff like this.
Well, that was the point of Civil War, though. There was always some crisis or something where they never hammed out the issues.
Yeah.
It would have been kind of a throwaway.
That's what they needed.
I like the Annihilation Wave series.
I mean,
because it gave rise to the Guardians.
So Thanos used effectively 2 evil Celestials to beat up Galactus. He strapped Galactus to the front of his ship, which was a giant gun, and used Galactus as a bullet to shoot planets. It's just like, if that's coming for the planet, like Thanos was with the Annihilation Wave with the Galactus gun. It's just like the heroes needed, if that came, the heroes would have needed to get their shenanigans together and say, look, governments of the world, we need to not do this.
Well, the reason I brought that up is, and then both times they ended up screwing the X-Men.
Okay, yeah.
They ended up sitting on the sidelines, and they had a brief moment where Emma just kind of admits she was banging Tony Stark, too.
Yeah.
I gotta say that, too. I was like, you think I'm bad running away from trees?
I mean, the real question is, have you banged Tony Stark?
No. Captain America has those.
Tony Stark, as in Tony with an I?
No.
No?
You don't want to get involved with someone that can follow you through time. You don't want to get involved with a super genius. That's the golden rule right there.
Mm.
You want to get involved with anyone that can copy your technology and then follow you through.
So no, like Rita Richards or anything like that?
No.
All right.
No, you never want to hook with a Richards either.
No.
You want to keep it simple. You want to stick to a Walters, Kyle, Quinn.
Yeah.
Well, that was that one time with Magic.
Looking for magic?
Oh yeah, I believe in magic deeply. And I hope you do. But the current version of Magic, Colossus' sister in your reality, or the reality you read, is a very cool chick. Mm-hmm. I love her powers. I was actually...
they've given her a push, which is awesome. She's always been cool, but once again, nobody knew what to do with her. But
I liked her running into New Mutants.
Yeah.
And they started to discover her when she got older. And then they made her a little kid, and she died, and then she came back. Well, then she died, Apocalypse, or then Colossus went to the dark side, he joined Magneto.
Also happens.
You gotta give it to him, though. That fool could rock a badass purple cape. Mm-hmm. Like, you guys look up Evil Colossus as an acolyte, and man, he had a badass purple cape.
Look at
him.
Yeah. He doesn't do every look like that. Ninja Turtles, like red head wrap.
Yeah, Native Apocalypse, that one was kind of...
Yeah.
But he could rock a purple cape, dude. Yeah. That looked badass.
But Magic has some interesting power sets. Did you want to describe it a little bit?
Well, aside from teleportation into Limbo, she's also a demon, like dark magic. Mm-hmm. She has a demon essence about her. Yeah. She's actually a ruler and connected to Limbo, which at one point during the Inhumans thing, she was able to take the X-Men to a fort on Limbo, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
And I never know why they left that, because they had an isolated area. They were able to build their ranks.
Yeah.
And this is at a point where Scarlet Witch had actually destroyed the mutant population. Because she said no more mutants.
Yeah. During the decimation?
Yeah, the decimation. And that kicked off the Hope Summers. And you were asking me about Hope Summers.
Yeah, I actually wasn't too familiar with her.
I know that she was raised by Cable in the future.
Happens.
And she was given the name Summers as a surname. And she has the power to adapt other mutants' powers.
Okay.
Basically, she's like a super version of Darwin.
Or she's... Mimic. I was about to say Mimic.
Mimic is an old school... we should talk about... Mimic is an old school villain. Okay, back in the day, he was a dude that was able to manipulate all 5 of the X-Men's powers. Angel's wings, Beast's big feet and agility, Cyclops' optic beam,
was it 5? I thought it was 4.
Telekinesis.
At a time. That was like Because, to my understanding, he can have 4 of any mutant's power that he's within
Well,
proximity
no, it was
with.
the original 5 X-Men.
Okay, so
But a very low,
uh,
low.
it's at half the power, so he gets
Yeah.
a bunch of mutants' powers that he was in proximity with, but at half the power. And I know one of his favorites, Wolverine's, because not only does he have the claws, enhanced senses, but he gets that healing factor. Even though it's at half power, it's still a healing factor.
And the legacy virus actually ended up killing him too.
Yeah.
Another gift by our friend Strife, who is related to Cable, who is a son of Cyclops and Jean Grey. Or not Jean Grey, but Matter.
I guess he's related to Cable.
Clone.
He's a clone.
Yeah, well, you know what
Which
I mean.
happens.
Well, but Hope
Like
Summers, you're talking about the death, so we get on Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't understand this, and I want to kind of explain this because it's sort of, I've had to explain this over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
She was the first baby born after the decimation.
Now I know exactly who you're talking about. I don't know why that did not connect with me.
Yeah, she was what they called the Messiah baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what happened is that she got all this shit started happening. This is when Cyclops sort of becoming a bad guy. I guess now he's not a bad guy. But,
Yeah, he doesn't do bad guy well enough. He's the Boy Scout. You know?
I don't know. With Hickman running the show, we don't know.
Mm.
All right, I love Hickman. Like, I love New Avengers. I love the Fantastic Four. I love a lot of Hickman's work. But I'm going to state this right now, and people might be watching this later, and it might make sense later, but I hate fucking time travel. I've mentioned this before in the Avengers movie, you know, that we watched. I hate time travel bullshit.
Even Nimrod? You hate Nimrod?
Well, Nimrod's from the future of a possibility that's actually calculated by humans. He's a result of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not going, oh, well, I'm just going to go through time. I was a human, but now I'm not. And I have 11 lives, which I'm a resurrected. And I'm going to go through each life. And each life seems more bullshit than the other. And I'm going to live all these different X-Men Okay.
Sounds like you're referencing something very specific.
Yes, I'm talking about the House of X, or whatever it is now. Look, I know what Hickman's doing. I know he's trying to tie everything from the beginning to the wacky 70s to the 50s to all this other shit that happened, you know, what he refers to as the dark years. And then Grant Morrison, the time where I was showing you stuff by him, and you're like, oh, well, this sucks, you know. And he wants to focus on the Grant Morrison time. And that's cool, but they're not different realities. They're just different situations. I mean, like, the good people from Captain America are going to go, well, all this blah, 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 blah. It's just too much history. Just start it from a certain point and move on.
But Jax, the hype. Isn't there the hype?
The hype. Yes, the mysterious 6th and 11th life. Let's call those MacGuffins. I bet you the MacGuffin is going to come in later in that series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the 6th life is probably going to be the life that we're reading now. Oh, the X-Men are fine. And or the 11th life, that Destiny said.
Yeah.
But basically, let me break it down. Moira Taggett, she was this chick. She was a bionic researcher, a genetic researcher. She was one of the best. She teamed up with Xavier. They had a relationship for a while, you know.
Was her arm okay? What happened?
Oh, well, you know, I just thought I'd be a little more clean, you know, for that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, they had a thing.
Want to show off your bicep? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Gains?
Well, yeah, from your reality, that means, well, you know.
You're increasing your loyalty points.
Sure. But anyways, after they had their relationship, they broke up, you know, because Xavier's a twit. I don't like Xavier.
He does questionable choices.
Yes, but anyways, Banshee starts hitting that.
But sure, why not? That Banshee needs loves too.
My boy, Cassidy. But anyways, just so you know, Banshee's a mutant, Sonic screams, and he allows him to fly. He's older than in the comics. He was a bad guy in the original series, became a good guy later on.
He's a cool guy. He is cool.
Yeah, he's in that cool-ass Irish or Scottish Irish, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's Scottish.
Yes.
He's just that cool guy that you just want to drink whiskey with and just hear him tell all these great stories about him whooping ass.
Yeah.
He was an Interpol agent. He's basically Nick Fury with mutant powers on the other side and became a bad guy for a while and then a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not by choice. He was hypnotized, but you know.
Yeah, that happens.
No, what was I? I went on a tangent about magic.
You were
Oh,
talking about.
more take it. Yes. Um, have you been reading the Hickman series at all?
No, you kind of turned me off on it, like prematurely
Oh
in
well,
advance.
I told you what I thought. I told you about her 11 lives.
Mm-hmm.
I told you that she's like, okay, this is what's happening. Spoilers here. Plug your ears. La 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 la. I'm not get. I'm not. We don't have editors, so I don't know when the hell I'm going to stop talking about it. So close your eyes and sew your ass cheeks shut, and you know, spoilers. Moira McTaggart
Mm-hmm.
apparently is a mutant now,
Mm-hmm.
and not only is she a mutant, she has the power of reincarnation. But she has a what they refer to as a Groundhog Day effect,
Okay.
where she's not living the same day. Where when she dies, she is reborn in the womb with all the information that she had before. So even as a 1-year-old, by her second life, she knows how to walk and how to this and how to that. So she starts, since she's a mutant, she finds out about Xavier and she pitches Xavier the dream, and they start the first X-Men and blah blah blah. And the Sentinels come to kill him. And then another time she goes to Xavier earlier and they make like this utopia. The Sentinels come and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then she says, fuck this, and she goes to Magneto. And the interesting thing is she hooks up with all of them. I want to make that perfectly clear right
Sure.
now. Yeah, I'm just saying.
She's not a bad looking gal.
Oh yeah, well no, if I did, I'm gonna do the same thing, dude. Beautiful women in power, yeah, dude. I really want.
Oh, I thought you meant with doing the Wham Bam Thank You Man with Magneto. And Professor Xavier.
Maybe Scarlet Witch. That's another bag of catch for
And
me.
did she do it with Scarlet Witch?
Who?
Moya.
No, I'm talking about me. I was talking about if I had this, I was in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Magic thing. Okay. Freaking me out, man. But anyways, but she ends up like hooking up with him, and Magneto's idea doesn't work. She hooks up with Apocalypse, and then Apocalypse and Nimrod get into a fight, which is never shown, which was probably the best part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that. That's like watching.
It's like two unstoppable objects colliding into each other, and just like that, and just like not really.
That's like Hulk Hogan from the '80s and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, it's not as powerful, but it's like Mephisto versus Galactus. It's just serious fight.
Yeah. But they've been covering actually Dormammu and Galactus lately.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
But has a lot of power.
Like the whole multi-lives thing, it just bugs me. It's kind of an easy out. I don't know where Hickman's going with it, but Hickman has a way of pulling pate out of dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know where the story is coming from. I have doubts.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you know right now. Because everyone is bending over and getting on their hands and knees, and they're making like circus hills for Hickman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what a circus hill is like, right?
Maybe the end result, he has a really good idea. So then that's why everyone's on board. Who knows what's going on?
I think everyone's on board, dude, because Hickman's spun gold so far.
Yeah.
But no one's getting this story. Everyone, like, I've read them myself, and I've heard other people say, and they're like, oh, well, I don't know where this is happening, but let's just admit it. Like, enough with the time travel shit. This is what we complain about X-Men.
Yeah.
I mean, like, literally, this is what you millennials bitch about the 90s. The whole Age of Apocalypse thing.
Well, and, like, I don't really like when X-Men goes too far out of their territory. When they do that a lot, like when they went to space. Yeah.
I don't mind that.
I didn't care.
I like the whole Starjammers thing. But, no, but this has started X-Men 10 years, okay? Mm-hmm. Where Xavier has that weird headpiece and he's drawing mutants out of the Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. He's off. And then it goes X-Men 100 years later.
Yeah.
And then 1,000 years later. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I know everyone's like, oh, Hickman. Oh, each cheek tastes so good. A little more closer to the hole, please. it bugs me like how everyone could just be like, oh well, this is just good, and no one's questioning like where the hell my comic book series is going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't give a shit about X-Men 100 years later. I don't give a damn because sooner or later, all that bullshit is going to go all the way back to the beginning, and we're going to be all the way back to square one,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to be sitting there with our fingers up our asses, and
so it pretty much becomes a dream sequence.
Make no sense. Yeah, I remember I told you the Super Mario complex, Super Mario 2 complex.
Or it's all a dream.
Yeah.
Well, except that was done in a dream world, so it still happened.
Yeah, well, this is done in quote unquote Mora Matega's 10 lives and a possible 11th.
Yeah.
With a 6th that hasn't even seen yet.
Was there an X-Men 2099?
Yes, there was. And how popular was that series?
I don't recall there being it because there was a Punisher 2099. There
the
was, of course, a Spider-Man 2099.
And Doom.
Doctor Doom 2099.
But which was Doctor Doom? He was Doctor Doom sent from the past.
Oh, yeah, no, he was legit Doctor Doom. And, they weren't ready for him.
So we got one good character, and Doctor Doom being Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom's fought the X-Men.
Oh yeah, I love Doctor Doom, dude.
Yeah, he's fought everyone. He's like Loki. Loki's fought the X-Men.
No, I got mad props for Doom, dude.
Yeah.
I love Doom 99, but how many of those Doom 99 titles, or those 99 titles survived? Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, Doom's just a G, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
No one's like, oh my god, it's Hulk 2099.
Yeah.
Oh god, I just crapped myself. It's Ghost Rider 2099.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude. All this future stuff, it's like when the Justice League did that millennial thing where it's 1,000,000 years in the future, and you meet Superman 1,000,000, and he's Superman that's been in the sun for like thousands of years, and looks like he's dipped in solid gold.
Mm-hmm.
Like Batman, 1,000,000 years later, and he's like a forgotten clone of like Dick Grayson or something, And you're sitting there going, well, this is nice. And at least DC had the courtesy to just make that like a few issue thing, with a few crossovers, like it was a crossover thing, but it wasn't as huge as this where it just takes over and just pollutes the title.
Yeah.
And I just want my X-Men back.
Yeah.
Why is Marvel screwing with me so much? I mean, like,
one thing I like about
what?
The X-Men is some of their not mutant villains.
Oh, like Juggernaut.
Yeah. Like, okay, so he's a little more complicated because they've added a little more lore to him, like with the gem, because they didn't really talk as much about that in the beginning.
They did in Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Because Doctor Strange wore the crimson bands of Sidorak, and he had the ruby of Sidorak.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because I was a Strange head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you, dude, in the 90s, and like the early 80s, dude, I was collecting. My dad had bought me a lot of those issues. He acquired a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
They fell off a truck, but
that happens.
Yeah, and since they fell off a truck, I was able to enjoy these issues, and I loved them, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it explained how him and Juggernaut were also bonded.
Yeah.
Through Sidorak, and Sidorak didn't actually care whether they were used for good or evil. It's just that his name was out there.
Yeah, but it does kind of taint the user just getting that power. At least if they're more easily tainted. Like Doctor Strange, it didn't do anything because he's Doctor Strange.
Well, the amulets, the spells, the Remoto, but
Duquesne Marco, just like you have this regular civvy who's just kind of a bully and then gets the Juggernaut.
I think it was
powers.
a match made in heaven because later on, before this whole hit me thing happened, they were covering Juggernaut, and him and Sidorak are sort of kindred souls in some ways.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting. I thought that was cool. And Juggernaut's been a good guy. He's been a bad guy.
Because he's it's not unusual for a powerful deity like that to be a jerk.
And he's had a She-Hulk too.
Yeah.
Too.
Works out.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about different multiverses. You need to come with me sometime. Great.
I mean, I've traveled other multiverses, just not comic ones.
You travel the peaceful ones where it's all magic and sitting on carts and people are singing weird songs while hobbits are dancing around and dwarf women have beards and it's horrible.
I thought you liked it that they had all the greatest weed in the world.
That's the best part. I'm like Slater the Gray. I just appear and then poof, I'm gone.
Uh,
Actually, Slater the Blue.
but they've had other like human villains. Like I think Stryker's probably
Striker,
most...
yes, dude. Bruno for Tax.
Okay, yeah,
He invented the Sentinels.
yeah,
Since you're bringing that up, dude, Gyron Creed,
yeah, yeah. The son of Creed,
the son of
of
Sabretooth,
Sabretooth.
yeah, and Mesquite.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd bring that up.
Sabretooth has actually had quite a few kids. There was Merrill that he had. I want to say 2 kids. Don't quote me on that. But yeah,
I love Merrill, dude.
I think only one of his kids were mutants. All of his other kids he's had are human.
See, this is what I love about this too. We're 40 deep in. We even haven't really talked about the core members too much.
I mean,
the idea of mutants is just so cool.
Yeah.
And the universe is so expansive.
Yeah.
We could just sit here and just dish so many unknown facts.
Okay. So, another comic book series touches on this idea, but the boys. So there's the G-Men, which are parallels to the X-Men, where they have, first off, a lot of different teams. So, it's sort of parallels to X-Men, but, there's X-Men
X-Force,
Gold, X-Men Blue,
X-Factor.
but, then there's X-Force,
Oh, wait.
X-Factor.
I got them all memorized. In the 90s, there was Gold, Blue, X-Force, X-Factor with Havoc. There was the New Mutants. Generation X came out about that time. And then...
No, just their own Excalibur also.
Yeah. Well, they were a British team.
Yeah.
They only had 2 mutants, but they're powerful.
I consider them part of the X family.
You know what? Yeah, so I'll give that a pass because Captain Britain is Psylocke's brother.
Yeah.
Spoilers for a comic about 20 years ago.
Well,
I'll be covering Excalibur.
For all the people who know who Captain Britain is, but doesn't know that Psylocke and our family. In some, I guess, maybe physical way now, but not physical.
Ooh, I know the whole story. I actually looked this up.
Okay, yeah, it gets pretty convoluted.
Psylocke was a British chick who wore this weird, I thought it was cool. People didn't like it. It was a pink, purplish costume.
It was okay.
And she ended up her body got ruined, or she had a psychic disturbance. She switched bodies with this Asian chick. And the Asian chick used her body to become Ravnica because she got part of her powers. And then they ended up fighting. She ended up killing her. Psylocke ended up staying in the body. So she's a British chick that's in the body of a beautiful Asian girl with a nice, supple.
So, and that Japanese woman,
Shuriken.
she was also an assassin. Like, she's well trained. She's sort of like Elektra, like skills.
Yep.
And so with their minds merging, like she can speak both English and Japanese, and then she also has the assassin skills. She has her original psychic powers.
Psychic blade too.
Back when she was British.
I love that psychic blade.
Yeah, and she manifests her psychic powers with these physical constructs.
Oh, dude, and she has the most wonderful pair of size.
Yes.
Mm.
And
luscious size.
Yeah, it gets even more convoluted than what you explained because she was also Lady Mandarin for a little bit.
I was grazing over it.
Yeah, she died. She was resurrected with, I believe, the mutant portal, right?
We could sit here doing new character profiles and so many.
Okay, and also,
Cyclops is another one.
When she was Psylocke, the other original Asian, Yuriko? I cannot remember her name.
Miracle was a chick that died.
Okay.
The one that was going to hook up with Wolverine. And then
okay. Yes. That you have actually covered.
Yeah. Oh, I actually covered the What If, too.
That's correct.
Dude, Kingpin is a gangster in that one, dude.
Oh, Kingpin's a gangster all the time.
I know, but, straight.
He's the Kingpin.
I know, but I got mad love for him. He's another guy without powers that has been a pain in the ass in certain X-Men, like Beast, Wolverine,
You mentioned Beast. I want to talk about Beast.
Ooh, so do I.
So, Beast, okay, if you have a room with Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Hank Pym, just all these super smart heroes, there is no reason that Hank McCoy, Beast,
definitely.
shouldn't be in there. Because, well, first off, he is a brilliant geneticist and biologist.
And he has other degrees, too.
Yeah, I mean,
Mechanics,
just look at the Age of Apocalypse Beast. Like, with
Dark
him
Beast.
being unbound by ethics, and, scrutiny, and actually, they want him to go crazy with it. Like, he does amazingly horrifying stuff.
Well, the thing is, and they talked about this in the comics, is that the Blue Beast, our Beast,
Mhm.
was more expound. Like he had more experience in engineering, this and that.
Yeah.
Dark
Well, he's
Beast's
a mechanic,
specialty, his one and only specialty, was genetic engineering.
Yeah.
Because when he took over Beast's place, also in the '90s, he was a bad guy that was protecting. He had problems building machines or working on certain things.
Yeah.
And plus, he's 20 years older than our current Beast.
Yeah.
The one good thing about Grant Morrison, and I didn't really mind this, is he gave him that cat-like face.
Yeah, the Puma Beast.
Yeah, because I've been covering X Factor, and he started out as gray, and then he
Yeah.
became blue,
Mhm.
and then he lost all his hair.
Yeah.
I actually covered that in one of the first X Factors, how like he was mutation for like went further.
Yeah.
This dude tried stopping it. It's really weird how it's written.
Yeah.
But you got to kind of give pace, because it's back in the day.
Yeah. And one thing I really like about Beast, unlike all the other smarty pantses I mentioned before, not only is he smart, he's probably not as smart as them, but like the big difference is he always wants to learn. When you see him not
Mhm.
doing something, he's reading a book.
Well, Stan Lee said that he wanted to make him bigger and boxier like Thing, but he wanted to make him more articulate
Yeah.
of the group. Like he liked that contrast.
Yeah.
He didn't want to make another big character like Ben Grimm, where he was like kind of just a muscle,
Yeah.
or the Hulk. He wanted to make him smart, articulate.
Yeah.
And I love, like, in the X-Men cartoon, where he goes over the security thing. Spoilers for like a cartoon that's like almost 20 years old.
Mhm.
He's all averted feet and faint of heart and many a tear.
Yeah.
To our opposite path I will persevere. He just jumps up and
Yeah.
I love Beast, dude. He always puts a smile on my face.
Yeah. And because it was an interesting thing that you mentioned to me. So when, Tony Stark was with the
Illuminati?
the Guardians of the Galaxy,
Oh.
It's just like Tony Stark is like, oh, I'm a smart guy, so I don't need to be told anything. And Rocket's like, your high tech stuff isn't unusual in this part of the galaxy.
Yes.
And Tony Stark has too much ego; he won't listen to any of it. But when Shadowcat was there, she's always interested in learning. She had amazing teachers, like her whole entire life, and she,
Well, you're talking about
But-
geniuses. She's another person who needs to be in the conversation.
well, yeah, and I think a lot of it isn't natural genius as much as she works hard to be smart.
Well, yeah, she started with above average intelligence, just moved on. Well, the thing was, she was dating Star Lord at that time.
Mhm.
And she actually became Star Lord for a while.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was cool about Kitty Pryde.
Mhm.
I know her and Colossus are kind of like the Buffy and Angel.
Yeah.
Watch that show if you don't know what I'm talking about. Or Romeo and Juliet, whatever. Use whatever.
Romeo
whatever.
and Julie's probably not the best example, but I know what you're saying.
Justin Bieber and Charlie Sheen. Whatever, you need to put in your head, colloquialism, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, as far as superhero couples, superhero couples don't really last long. Theirs lasted long,
Actually,
especially with the age difference.
no, it's not that, 5 years?
Is it 5 years? Isn't it 10?
6 years? No, it's
I
not
think
that
he's
old.
10 years older.
Nah, he's like 20. He was like 21. She was like 14. I mean, like
7 years.
Not
Okay,
bad,
so 7
though.
years isn't too bad.
Not bad. I
I
mean,
thought he was in his mid-20s, though.
no, he was a kid, dude. Because they were actually talking about that because he was a little older, and then he waited, until she was like 15, 16, because she was always hitting on him.
Yeah.
He kind of gave into it then,
Yeah.
which I can't blame good old Petey Pureheart.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he's hard on the outside, but he's soft on the inside.
That's what Rogue said.
Huh.
She was also one of those ones that. Sorry, it's a reflex.
Yeah.
Like Tourette's.
Yeah, you've been working out a lot. You like to feel the goods.
Did you hear that? She. See, I'm serious. I'm waiting for like a portal to pop out of nowhere or some asshole attorney handing me papers. Did you bring your lightsaber?
No.
Talk about cheating. This guy goes to Middle Earth worlds with a lightsaber.
They're not Middle Earth worlds. They're magical worlds, but they're not Middle Earth.
Naked women riding dragons.
It happens.
Well, no, that was just my favorite part of the world. Well, speaking of dragons, though, Shadowcat has a Lockhead. The little baby, the little purple
Lockheed?
Lockheed, yeah,
Lockheed,
the little
yes.
purple dragon. He is cool, dude. You find out his
Yeah.
origin in Excalibur.
No, yeah, because he's not a dragon, right?
Yeah, he's an alien.
Yeah, just like Fin Fang Fu.
Yeah, well, sort of, but they're like a race of flying dragons, I guess.
Yeah.
Because that's the names. Like, just call us flying dragons.
Yeah.
And I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was cool. And I am gonna have to cover Excalibur, so you guys know what I'm talking about.
It had is that the one where it's like the cover of where it's like breathing fire in like another dragon's eye?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so cool. Dude.
It's a really
that was
cool
in the
cover.
X-Men one, and then they cover it later in Excalibur too. They expand on it.
Yeah.
And Lockheed's actually pretty intelligent.
Yeah.
One of the most like forgettable. I don't know why he's not there anymore. I think he flew off or grew up, but I think he'd be cool if like a baby or something came back.
Yeah.
But since we've been talking about the X-Men, I'm gonna get to one of my favorites, Wolverine. And I know you a Cyclops fan. I'm like you kind of.
I do like Cyclops.
I hate Cyclops.
Cyclops has done nothing wrong.
What? He was a bad guy for a while.
What are you talking
He
about?
joined Magneto and had his own fascist army.
Magneto wasn't wrong.
Well, Magneto wasn't wrong, but Cyclops was a dick. I mean,
You could be a dick and do nothing wrong.
Oh, dude, he married a chick, had a child, and then when he found out Jean Grey was resurrected, he left them both lickety split. Which she became the Goblin Queen, and sent their son
It is a
Cable
personal,
into an alternate reality.
complicated issue that, yeah, it's nobody else's business except for the parties involved.
You know, I'm going to tell you, Cyclops doesn't only suck; he swallows. But I will give it to him as a leader. I will give him his props as a leader.
He is a leader who cares.
That would be Storm.
Cyclops cares of him.
You know, in one of the first issues of the X-Men, Storm got naked and expanded the Storm Cloud and invited everyone to take a shower with her. If that's not true love of a leader, I don't know what is.
You just like that she was naked.
Then she offered a shower with him. You think Cyclops would turn around and do that? What about Jean? Okay, Jean Grey's the leader of X-Men Red.
Mm-hmm.
You think Jean Grey's gonna be like, "Whoa, well, let's have a group chat"? You know what, Black Panther, you weren't good enough for Storm.
Yeah, he had too much of an ego. She
should let Dr. Doom hit it.
She let a lot of stuff pass by because she does not have an ego. So like with
I'm telling you, dude, Dr. Doom,
with
dude.
T'Challa's ego, she just like brushed it off. But eventually it's just like she has her own stuff to do. When you have
Or her and Wolverine.
yeah. Well, their love is interesting because it is a platonic love. It's sort of like
As I recall, she ended up making out with him when she was married to T'Challa.
I mean, she's a beautiful lady. She needed something on the side. I mean, royalty does that sometimes.
Yes. Well, I don't. I'm a virtuous person. Right?
Mm-hmm. You can do no wrong.
Of course. Look at the ring. Do I look like someone that would just give in to random acts of villainy?
We were discussing something earlier about Storm. So she has weather control, but she has it so good. And an interesting aspect is how do certain superpowers work on other planets? Like the Blob, he's effectively as powerful as the Earth. If he's
Her
on
powers actually work in other worlds too.
yeah,
It's
so
fascinating.
if she wanted to, could she terraform a world with weather?
Yes.
Can she terraform Mars?
That's
To
what we're
become a
talking about.
lost jungle world. Can Magneto go there and reactivate the magnetic field?
Yeah, I brought this up. When Iceman do the moisture.
Well, he
Why
doesn't
did they make
create
their own
moisture.
planet?
So
Yeah, that's
you
what I'm
need
saying.
somebody that creates moisture
Why
of
don't
water.
they just make their own planet? That was the point that I was bringing up before. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's enough Omega mutants. Why don't they just have their own goddamn planet?
I mean, Cable had his own floating island.
Magneto had his own asteroid.
Yeah.
And now I guess they have their own weird island that lives and then dies 100 years later, and then still has magical seeds that are sort of dead zones. And
It's comic books.
well, people are gonna.
But,
I can see in the message board now. It's too complex for you. It's not.
okay, so I think to terraform Mars, they just need Storm, Magneto, some sort of plant-based.
I'd say Krakoa
Heroes.
or there's another character in Alpha Flight called Shaman.
Mhm.
He has plant manipulation powers.
Okay, yeah. So like, give him a bunch of seeds. I mean, we have Doomsday Vaults. Just get a few of those seeds, and have somebody with wind power spread them all around this plant guy.
Oh yeah.
Activate
I'm not
somebody.
disagreeing, dude.
Now, Mars might actually have enough water, and to my understanding, a lot of it's underneath the ground
Yeah, that's what,
and in the poles. So, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Have Iceman, dude, because he could bring it up from the bottom.
I don't know if he could do that because he removes thermal energy from stuff.
I know, dude, but his powers have changed. Back in the day, I actually
Yeah.
had books where he would manipulate the moisture.
Do they have a waterbender mutant?
Probably.
Yeah, it's just like get that one.
They have dozens of other mutants. That's
Yeah.
the thing. They need a new mutant. They just basically, the writer's like, all right, a new mutant is
So
born.
pretty much you need like 5 or 6 Omega level mutants, and they
I
can
think Storm
terraform
could
Mars.
pretty much like do it piece by piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once again, it's like you
Well, once
need
they get the
Magneto to
atmosphere.
reactivate the magnetic field, or else the radiation from the sun. Like, if
Yeah.
you want any life, it's going to destroy any Earth-based life.
Well, I also liked magic. The whole idea of limbo, like. Now, if Colossus comes after me, you are going to take the first punch, right?
Sure, why not?
Okay. You see, I'll be backing you up as I open the portal for us to escape.
You don't mind the translocation of switching spots while he's punching.
No, you see, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to fire a grappling hook and grab you when you're jumping. See, that's what the ring's for.
Because the porter needs grappling hook. Yeah.
I always know that the portal needs me to jump through first.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, we'll go with that plan. Don't worry about it. You're all good. There's nothing to worry about.
This is per the service papers.
Mm-hmm. And so, I guess we haven't talked about the Hellfire Club. We were avoiding the X-Men so much.
Well, we're talking about different mutants,
Yeah.
Well, because everyone, this is the thing that's been bothering me online. I've been watching this lately. Is that everyone's on Hickman. Everyone's talking about the X-Men. Everyone's doing videos about Wolverine and Gambit.
But the hype.
Yeah, well, screw the hype. This is my show, and as you can tell by the very few subscribers we have, it's not really about being popular. It's just about saying what we want to say. And
It is fun.
I mean, all right. Look here, watch here. Let's placate to the fans. All right, let's have our top 10 mutants.
Oh, grab the list. The list is over there. We somewhat. It's up there, right?
I don't know.
Oh. Oh, you're making this right here. You threw this out from nowhere.
Oh, he made a list. See, check it out.
Okay. So, what I brought up in the beginning, that they have a lot of female lists. I was trying to think of, like, if I had my own X-Men team, who would it be? And I noticed, like, a lot of them are just women. And it's not just because they're beautiful, but they're very talented and powerful.
So
and
you're saying,
the X-Men have a lot of mutants.
so you're saying it's not their booty, it's what they do in the duty.
So, Banshee. You need somebody lighthearted in the team. It's just like, if not, everyone's going to get stressed out. But also, he's pretty powerful.
And he likes a good pipe load and a shifter full of whiskey.
Beast, once again, he's the mechanic. He's super smart, agile, strong. He got it. Storm.
Great guy to
She's
party
Storm. Well, we've actually talked about her potential terraforming
with.
capabilities.
She slapped me in the face with lightning.
Rogue, because you need the muscle. And Rogue has the muscle. And if she isn't, she could probably take it from some other muscle.
She definitely has the muscle.
Yeah, Nocturne. Okay, I really like Nocturne. A lot of this is because I read Exiles. It's a really interesting series. So,
explain to the listeners who Nocturne is.
Nocturne is, from another dimension where Nightcrawler and Scarlet Witch did the wham bam thank you ma'am, had a baby, and that's
She was
Nocturne.
Cool. Yeah, she had
So-
red fur.
Yeah, so she looks like a female Nightcrawler. She has the hex bolts that Scarlet Witch has, but she also has possession. She can actually jump into bodies and possess people for a limited amount of time. The more mental willpower they have, the less time she has. But if they willingly let her in and she could just hang out and not possess them, she could hide in people who
Sort of like
are willing.
Deadman.
Yeah, like Juggernaut when I had to fight. Who's his buddy that's a complete jerk? Black Tom?
Well, I wouldn't consider him a jerk.
Yeah, no.
He's a businessman.
Oh, yeah.
That's Banshee's brother,
and
by the way.
so, like, Black Tom was going to have a meeting with Juggernaut, and just, like, they knew it was going to be betrayed, but he had a child as a hostage. Yeah, not a bad guy. And Nocturne hid inside of Juggernaut. And so, so it was still 2-on-1, and so she jumps out, shoots Hexable. But yeah, she could jump really well, acrobatic, just like her father.
The Exiles is another good comic, too.
It's amazing. So Blink, I was thinking about having Nightcrawler as a teleporter, but Blink is actually a lot better with mass teleportation. Plus, she has her crystal things she throws.
And it's just,
she was also an Exile.
Manifestation of her powers.
Yeah.
What is
it? Because she can use those to teleport as well.
She is great to party with.
And then Husk. So you mentioned Husk a little bit. Her powers are interesting. She can shed her skin, which a lot of times she also has to rip it off, and she will have like new skin of a material
like adamantium or diamond or even like gaseous forms.
Yeah, and so
she's Cannonball's sister.
Yeah.
By the way.
And so she could effectively kind of be like a Colossus, but with more utility. She's not as physically strong as Colossus, but I think the utility really bumps it up.
But she's blonde and very cute, so it makes up for it.
And Shadowcat, because goes through walls, been trained by Ugin and Wolverine in combat. She's kind of has ninja skills. I don't know if she was ever actually trained by a ninja, but she has ninja skills.
She was trained by Wolverine.
Yeah,
it was
trained
a 4-part series. It was actually really cool. She almost died.
Yeah.
Wolverine taught her how to, and he gave her the name Shadowcat.
And I kind of already mentioned it was kind of trained by Rocket, or like he showed her mechanic skills, stuff like that. Yeah. She's always interested in learning.
She's an accomplished hacker too.
Yeah.
Brilliant engineer. She's a smart cookie. Oh,
yeah.
And Beast was a member of the Illuminati. Before we forget.
Oh yeah, and yeah. So that's my team, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So it's actually on the.
Well, you got 2 more.
Okay. So I had 2 other options.
You gonna pick your hero Cyclops?
No, I did have 2 more written down. I was kind of like.
You're not gonna pick your hero Cyclops?
No, actually, I did not have Cyclops, and I was thinking of actually Storm as the leader. Although I think Rogue or Beast would also make good leaders, but I was thinking Psylocke as a combatant, but Shadowcat already kind of fills that role. And I think, once again, I talk about utility. Shadowcat might actually have more utility. And then Dazzler. So, first off, as a ranged combatant, which Blink and Nocturne already do. But I had a very interesting thought. Dazzler turns sound into energy light blast.
Yeah, listen.
If Banshee used his sonic powers on Dazzler and she absorbed it to do light blast, and blast it at Bishop, who then absorbs all that energy and then blasts that out. Like, could you just have this weird of people absorbing energy and just blasting? I think it could work. But yeah, like, I'm fine with a slightly smaller team. It's not unusual for them to have anywhere between 7 and 12 members, which
just so you guys know, we wrote a bunch of mutants down. This is a long list.
And yeah, it's just some mutants in the grand scheme of things.
Now, you've seen Rush Hour 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, you remember that beautiful part where Chris Tucker's in the massage parlor and they open the doors, there's all those women.
Mm-hmm.
You go, that's the way I feel when I'm trying to pick X-Men, so that might take me a while. So.
But yeah, so the list only has 2 guys.
You just don't jump in front of a supervillain in the buffet line.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now my thing is going to be a little more different. I'm going to go with a more classic team because y'all know that I get around. But I like Wolverine for one.
Mm-hmm.
Beast. I'm going to throw a wild card up there and say Submariner.
Okay, yeah.
Since he's considered one of the first mutants.
And shout out to your what if with the
I liked him,
Namor.
Submariner. Yeah, Namor.
Yeah,
I think he's cool. Aladdin would be a good place for them to have a base at.
he's a mean version of Aquaman. I really like it.
He's more of a dick, though. Yeah.
He's part of the Defenders, not the Netflix Defenders.
Oh, fuck,
They should have named him like Marvel Knights or Heroes for Hire. I don't know why they call them Defenders. It makes it very confusing.
The original Defenders, Doctor Strange, Namor,
Silver Surfer, and
Silver
Hulk.
Surfer, and then they expanded to Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Wolverine, Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
They brought in all these misfits. Blade.
Yeah, what it is heroes that don't play well with other heroes teaming up because something's going on right then and there. And they kind of need heavyweights to deal with it. Like, the Avengers kind of deal with their stuff. The X-Men deal with their stuff. Fantastic Four deals with theirs. And then it's just like, if there's something unusual, normally it's off their radar.
You chose Beast for yours, huh?
Yeah. He's a good pick. He's a solid pick.
Let's see. You know what? I'm going to say screw Beast. I'm going to go for a totally different list.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go for Forge.
Forge.
Okay.
He's not much of a field combatant, but that's cool.
That's 3 right there. All right, now. Oh, you took Storm. I hate you so much. Why could you take your boy?
Oh, you could have Storm.
No, I mean, like, you're all, oh, I love Cyclops. You don't even have one on your team. Oh, I want to join his Vince McMahon club.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait,
okay. How about
I'm
this?
going to pick Jubilee.
Jubilee. All right.
Just because I'm in love.
An opportunity to actually
cool.
use her, see what's up. I mean, okay. Well, let's talk about Jubilee a little bit. So she creates fireworks, but they're not actually fireworks.
They're like little bombs, sort of.
Yeah, and they're electrical. Also, they mess with electronics.
They're like EMP sort of.
Yeah. So they're
also,
like
she's a vampire.
Yeah. That happened.
Mm.
But yeah, they're like electromagnetic light bursts that also make sound when they come out of her hands.
Yeah, she sucks too.
And not only is she a range attacker, but she's also sort of AoE because when she blasts, it spreads out. I guess it probably depends on how she spreads her fingers. Like that's like more
She's
of a line
also
of
a
that.
mother now too.
Yeah.
And she adopted a baby. It's interesting.
Mm.
Let's see who else. You didn't say Nightcrawler, huh?
No, I did
I'm
not.
Stealing him. I'm stealing
because
him.
I chose Blink instead.
I'm gonna I love Nightcrawler, just for his
It's
face.
color.
Well, that and he seems to be a heart of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not.
That's why I picked Banshee. He needed
yeah.
a heart of the team.
Yeah, that's why he would be my heart of the team.
Yeah.
Okay, and for power, I would have to go with Havoc.
Yes, he's pretty beefy as a ranged attacker,
and he's a good second in command.
Mm-hmm.
A good girl pick, Polaris.
Yeah,
I think
daughter of Magneto,
and
exact same powers, has green hair.
Havoc's significant other. She has a way of keeping him in line.
Yep.
They play well off of each other.
Yeah, it's not unusual for her to be mad at him.
Is that number 5?
That might be 6.
6, okay. So Wolverine, Forge, Nightcrawler, Havoc, Polaris,
Jubilee,
of course, Jubilee.
Yeah.
We can't.
Okay, so are you aiming for the double digits, number 10, or that?
Oh, I'm going for 10.
You're going for 10.
All right. Now let's
So you need 4 more.
Such a tough choice. There's so many good ones, but you have to have a psychic. I wish. Actually, in the X-Men First Class I'm going to be covering, where it covers the original team, they do fight Lizard in issue 3,
mm-hmm.
which I really want to get to.
Yeah, it was surprising for an early issue, but yeah.
I really don't like time travelers. Oh, you took Storm. I love Jean Grey, but them redheads are crazy.
Jean Grey also ends up having issues here and there, so yeah.
I have to go with Magic.
Magic is a solid pick.
Her mystical powers. I do love me a demoness. Dude, ain't nothing like a bad girl that tries to be good. We need to go out to a supervillain bar sometime. But anyways, ain't about drinking. But anyways,
I'll have a cola.
Sure. And I'm here to spread joy. If only I could find her. Anyways, I'm on 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh God, it's such a.
Are you on 8? Aren't you on 7?
Come on. Probably 7, yeah. All right. It's such a tough choice, dude, because I want a strong guy, and everybody always picks Colossus.
Mm-hmm. You could always pick strong, man. Actually, it is strong guy, isn't it?
Yeah, I never liked him.
Is it because he looks weird? Like he has
No,
this
I don't
small
mind. I
head
don't
with
mind the
this little.
shrunken head. He's just kind of a dick. And
Yeah.
not even a fun dick.
Yeah.
Just a dick in general.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna be an asshole, be a fun asshole. If you're gonna be a drunk,
Who's
be
that?
a fun
Okay.
drunk.
I can't think of his name. He is that. He kind of looks like a gray thing. He's not as buff. He's a little more slim.
Brick.
Is that his limbs kind of come off?
I'm pretty sure it's Brick.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you wouldn't need muscle though. If I'm gonna throw a wild card.
Mhm.
I'm X-23.
Okay.
With Wolverine and X-23, I'm pretty confident that I could take it on.
It's a lot of fighting capability.
All right, that's number 8.
And that would be more comfortable splitting the team off also, because you could still have both trackers and they can meet up easily.
Mm-hmm. Dang, that was number 8, number 9. So I still need something with somewhat psychic ability.
Solid.
Yeah, she seems a little. I'm gonna have to go with Emma.
Emma, okay. Skipping Jean Grey and going for Emma.
I'm gonna have to, yes.
She could also be the muscles. She has that diamond skin.
Yeah, and then Emma's just Emma. I can tell you stories.
So you got Emma, so you're going to throw Cyclops in there?
Who? Why would I give him the position that screws the hell? I don't even know why we keep bringing that fool up. Oh, all right. Now I'm a Bishop fan,
All right, yeah.
but I don't know the whole time travel malarkey. I think I'm gonna have to throw out another wild card.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say Magneto.
Okay. You already have Polaris, but that's cool.
I know, but that's why I'm not gonna say Magneto.
You
I'm gonna have to go with an underrated character.
Okay.
Darwin.
Okay.
Wild card. You see, I didn't want to just pick a typical X-Men team.
Do you know who I thought you were going to pick?
Who?
I thought you were going to pick Longshot.
Actually,
I do know you like Longshot.
I had him on the mind since you
Mhm.
brought up Dazzler. He was going
Mhm.
to be my 11th man.
Yeah.
Like, either Longshot or Darwin. I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. But I thought Darwin got a bad break in the comics as well as the movie. I thought his powers to adapt to survive was cool.
Mm.
Fascinating. Should have been explored more.
Yeah.
He would have made a great horseman for Apocalypse.
Yeah.
But I love Longshot. I love me some Longshot. He's the guy with 3 fingers. He's from a world called Mojo Verse, which we haven't talked about that. We totally do an X-Men villain thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's this big fat guy with robotic legs that owns this whole world. That's based on.
He has no
ruler
spine.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
just
spineless
actually a
ones.
thing.
Yeah,
It's just race, no spine.
and the whole world is based on how high the cable ratings are in the universe. And it is wacky.
I wouldn't mind seeing a 4-part miniseries, not with Mojo. I actually don't care much for Mojo. With Longshot and Dazzler.
Yeah, they were married, and evidently Shatterstar is like the grandson of them.
Yeah. It's something like that.
Well, there was a love triangle, and if you read the Fantastic Four versus X-Men on my show, if you look that up, you can. It actually, I talk about it a little bit
Mhm.
because Havoc was hitting on her at that point too. There's a point where him and Polaris were kind of on the outs. But yeah, that would probably be my team. It was so hard, and so tempting to just pick a team of beautiful women.
So, and all I'll mention is characters that are mutants that people don't know they're mutants. One is Whirlwind.
Yeah, from the Avengers, the guy in the
Yeah.
green suit.
It's not unusual for him to fight Iron Man as well. He has a green suit, like these buzzsaw
Wasp.
things,
I like how he was an enemy of Wasp in the Avengers.
Yeah.
That was cool.
and he uses his whirlwind powers like to blast out of him and like spin the
Yeah, like
buzzsaws.
shurikens. Yeah.
And I believe they're made out of adamantium also. Like they cut through stuff.
Adamantium is so easy to find for such a rare item.
Evidently, I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind if it was adamantium tipped. That's not
Oh,
unusual.
actually, that would be cool.
Yeah,
Or vibranium tipped.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Avalanche. She's shown up in quite a few things, but he
I
doesn't
think he's
show up as
underrated
much.
too, since we're talking about underrated villains and Brotherhood. He
Yeah.
makes earthquakes. I love.
He needs a better costume. That's what I
X-Men
think it is.
Evolution, where he
Yes.
was just him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they gave him that shitty bowl-looking thing. Look him up. He wears like a bowl, like a half
His problem is
bowl costume.
he needs to. I want him to go to a PR representative. It's like, look, I'm a villain. I want to stay a villain, but nobody takes me seriously. Look at my costume.
Well,
Help
they
me
should
out
have just
here.
stuck with what he was wearing. Brown vest, green shirt, black pants, Converse. That was the look right there. And then they gave him that shitty costume.
Yeah.
And then he did that all. Like he was going into a like the original Avalanche doesn't do that, but this Avalanche kind of goes. And then the earthquake starts. You know.
Yeah.
Sort of like he's thinking of Shadowcat and World butt naked. And so.
Yeah.
And then the earthquake kind of happens. Actually, you know what? I never thought about that before. That is sort of.
Did you ever read a story called the? Oh, I'm brain farting. It was made by Seth Green and somebody else.
Seth Green.
Seth Green. He does the voice of Chris in.
Yeah, Robot Chicken.
Yeah, and he was a werewolf guy in Buffy.
Yeah, he was the son in Austin Powers.
Brain farting on what the name is, but anyways, there was this Amish guy. His superpower was he had a fat belly. If he shakes his belly, it causes an earthquake. The more he shakes it, the bigger the earthquake.
That sounds like a Seth Green power.
Yeah, and I'm brain farting on the name. I keep on calling it Newbie, but that was like the leader of the team. He was the only one without powers, and he's the one who wanted powers.
Okay, you remember that whole Montezuma thing that I was telling you about?
Mm-hmm.
I got that from Robot Chicken.
Okay.
Except, okay, it's a cartoon where Montezuma appears at random parts of the cartoon and shouts, "Revenge!" and people just crap themselves. Except my mutant power would be like, when I point at someone, would be like, "Revenge!"
Mm.
I could just do it on the phone and they instantly crap themselves.
Yeah.
I always thought that'd be kind of funny. I mean, even if the Hulk beats you up, you could be like, "Revenge!"
Do you have to point? Or do you just say revenge and look at them?
I would just say, or even call him on the phone, dude. Well,
it's like, "What's up, man? Revenge!" It's like, "Oh, you bastard!"
Well, no, just be all broken by the Hulk, like.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Mr. Sinister could give you those powers.
We want to work with him.
Yeah, I don't like Mr. Sinister. Like, okay, he's kind of like Dark Beast, except he doesn't do, like, his own stuff, It's just like he always has these henchmen running on stuff.
The Marauders. Actually, Gambit worked for the Marauders.
Yeah.
He had that surgery in his brain. I actually talked about that during the toy thing.
Yeah. That was a good episode.
Well, my brother actually liked Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
I have several brothers, just so you know, irked out through different planets. It's a long story. But, yeah. He loved that character so much. That's why I know so much about the Thieves Guild and fine-ass Belladonna.
And with Gambit, since he always throws, charges the cards and throws them, it's easy to forget he can charge other stuff. Like, I believe in Gambit issue 1, some hitmen or bodyguards or whatever, like, are chasing him on the beach, and he grabs a bunch of sand, charges it, and throws it.
Well, look in the cartoon, dude, when they were slaves and the collars came off, he grabbed a handful of screws and just...
Yeah. Or, going back to The Exiles, an amazing series.
Yeah,
when evil Hyperion was smacking everyone around, there was Gambit with Magic's sword, Magic's magical sword, charged it and stabbed it in his back and blew it up. He died in the process, and Hyperion kind of died. He's a Superman allegory, so it's just like, and Superman really doesn't die.
Dies in Marvel Comics except for Uncle Ben.
Yeah. And so it's cool that he can charge other things. I kind of wish he did that more.
I keep going back to Age of Apocalypse. Yeah. When Gambit in the Externals, he throws like nails, sharpened nails, or like throwing darts. And I thought that was kind of a cool. Oh, Gambit in the Externals, it's just in the Age of Apocalypse, everything gets fucked up. Apocalypse rule the world. And Gambit is like Robin Hood. And he has his own band of merry thieves with Jubilee on it. It's just so awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so can Gambit only charge non-organic materials? Like if he needs to destroy a tree, like he can't just touch it.
Oh no, the tree has, but living, more complex organisms he can't charge.
Okay, so he could do trees, or even like obviously a chair where it'd be like a dead organic.
Yeah, because when Rogue absorbs his powers, the reason I keep using the cartoon is what people watch. Because when she kissed him, she gave him out to mouth, she grabbed a telephone pole and it charged, she had to drop it.
Yeah.
Gambit's powers were actually too powerful at one point. That's why he went to Sinister that part of his brain removed.
Yeah.
He actually became a horseman of the apocalypse.
Yeah, and he had black
Yes.
skin.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
That was cool.
Lord Sunfire was one of the horsemen at the same time.
He had lost his legs at that point.
Yeah, and he gave
that
him
was
like
messed up what they did to him.
yeah.
But it was cool what he became.
Well, also Rogue stole his powers during that time, also because that's when she lost Miss Marvel's powers because Miss Marvel came back from her.
Rogue's another one of those
coma.
characters over the years.
So then she got
changed.
yeah, and now I don't think she has her fire powers at all anymore. They just kind of give her the Miss Marvel power set, except she never had the energy blast, which I thought was weird.
I think it was just the super strength to fly. She didn't absorb everything.
And then the pretty much the invincibility as well.
Yeah, the invulnerability.
Yeah.
But Rogue has other powers, though. I mean, she could absorb, and eventually she learned how to, I guess, turn them off at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is comics. Things get started and restarted and reshuffled. I mean, Wolverine has been dead, came back to life. Cyclops was recently dead and came back to life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they used to not be able to regenerate bone. That's what made...
How many times has Xavier been dead?
Yeah, but, like... Sabretooth and Wolverine, they weren't really able to regenerate bone. Like, Sabretooth used to have 4 claws when he was younger, but those broke very early on. It's not like Wolverine where he got the middle claws. But
it got weird, though, in Origins.
Yeah. But, like, with Rogue, Sabretooth really pissed her off, and she punched him through a building, and it broke his back, and he was pretty much out of commission for 2 months. Healing in 2 months with a broken back is impressive. So the healing factor still works, but it doesn't work. It doesn't regenerate. In Age of Apocalypse, Wolverine lost his hand, and he had to get something to cover his hand.
But he had the claws, though.
Yeah, but he had something cover his missing hand because the hand kept on trying to grow back without the bone. So he had to put something in the way of it.
Yeah, Cyclops blew that off, actually.
Yeah. Okay, was it at the exact scene when Wolverine was cutting out his eye? Or was that right after?
No, he sliced down the blast.
Yeah.
Because he was saving Jean Grey from the slave pits.
Yeah, and it makes sense because Cyclops' beams are concussive. So it kind of would blast it off. So, it's like if you blast the tendons off, then yeah, the hand comes off with it.
And that kind of stress after it's being cut, too.
Yeah. And then, so it can't regenerate the bone that's not there. That's what I liked about Ultimate Wolverine versus Ultimate Hulk, where Hulk ripped Wolverine in half and threw one of his halves, his lower half, up a mountainside, and Wolverine had to crawl back to get his other half.
That was bullshit.
I'm actually, other than Ultimate Spider-Man and parts of Ultimate X-Men, I really wasn't actually a fan of the whole Ultimate Universe. Ultimate Fantastic Four had its moments.
Well, I give mad props to the maker. You've heard me sing his praises.
Yeah, evil Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe.
I don't really call him evil. He's kind of a nice guy.
They misunderstood Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah. He's a bit of a stiff, though.
Yeah, but, so... One interesting thing about Deadpool, I was talking about healing factors not regenerating bone. Deadpool healing factor can regenerate bone. He's lost limbs
he
all the
regenerated
time.
from a finger. Totally.
Yeah, but not only...
Well, now the Hulk has that power, too.
Yeah, but not only that, but his skin scarified. That's why he looks that way.
He became one big cancer cyst. That's basically what happened.
Yeah, but it made his skin thicker. But the thing is, when Mimic from the Exiles got Deadpool's healing factor, because it is a mutant power from mutant gene, which kind of shows that he's a mutant, that his skin scarified. And he's just like, I need to get Wolverine's healing factor back, because he had to switch it out for one reason or another, like whatever was happening, and he's like, I need healing factor.
I can't remember which X-Men issue it is, because it was a long time ago. I'm thinking like early 2000s, but Rogue was wearing a red suit, red glasses.
That's from the Extreme X-Men.
She had Wolverine's bone claws, and Wolverine had died again at one point. And she absorbed Wolverine, and she could fly, had strength, had the invulnerability, and his healing factor, and bone claws.
Oh, she grew the bone claws.
Yes, which I found not antimantium, but bone.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I think they should work with more with Rogue's power. They have over the years.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's if they want to do something really interesting with her.
I don't know, like apparently all the X-Men are dead, and it's 100 years later in the new future. And I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Are you referencing something? Are you referencing the
Yeah.
hype?
I don't give a shit. The hype, yes, the hype. I don't know, I keep saying I love Hickman. I love his Fantastic Four run.
Mm-hmm.
I love it was going somewhere. It made sense. The new Avengers run made sense.
New Avengers is great.
Hickman, I will give you your due for that. But I like this multiple life crap. I'm so sick of this. Why do we have to keep using time travel, alternate lives, alternate realities? We have a great series called What If that I've been covering on my show. We don't need What If Moira McTaggart had 11 lives. That's a freaking one-shot comic, not a whole goddamn series. Because I will bet you stone money. Spoilers, plug your ears, everyone. Zip your butthole shut. But spoilers, dude. At the end of this, we're gonna reboot all the way back. Moira McTaggart's one of her lives gonna reset it, and the X-Men are gonna be back to the status quo because now this is what I'm like the third issue in, and it's being invented now, and the whole thing's gonna blow up.
Which Ford's made the original blueprints or like original robot that would eventually become the prototype for Nimrod. He made the prototype of the prototype of Nimrod.
Forge in it,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Forge sees what he needs to build. Like his power is he can make anything, but like it kind of.
He's also a shaman too.
He sees like a silhouette or like a transparent version of what he needs to build in front of him, and then he starts building it. It could be like a compulsion, like he sometimes he doesn't know what he's building. He could be something in the children of the corn for all we know.
Yeah, the whole Nimrod thing, though, I don't know. This whole thing is just kind of like it feels like there's gonna be one big conclusion, and then it's just gonna go. And I'm just tired of the mystery. Can't we just get back to a bare bones X-Men team?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like they did X-Men Red, X-Men Gold, X-Men Black, X-Men White, X-Men.
I'm ready for X-Men Ultraviolet.
X-Men Multicolor. Pretty soon they're gonna come out with X-Men Plaid.
Okay.
Like they've gone to plaid.
I think Banshee should be in that.
Dude, that's the way I feel, dude. I'm using the Spaceball metaphor. If you haven't seen it, just Google Ludicrous Speed on YouTube. You know what
Watch a Spaceball. No, I'm joking. I've seen it.
Be like Ludicrous Speed, go. That's exactly the way I feel X-Men's on right now.
Fly Plat, Lone Star,
and I love complicated comics.
Ludicrous.
I mean, like here, watch. I could pull books that I've read. Here, that's just so we can show people I'm not messing around. I love books like Emerson. I love books like Nietzsche. Shakespeare.
See some Stephen King up there.
Oh, Stephen King. I got Anne Rice. I got everything. I read a lot of books. So it's not like I don't know what.
No, just
it's not like I don't know good stories or history. I got classics here. Watch. I can pull one out right here. Walt Whitman, Leaves of Grass. So if you guys don't think that I'm not well read, you got another thing coming.
These things confuse me. They don't have pictures.
How do you
read them without pictures?
I know books without pictures. It's amazing.
How does it work?
Ask Beast, he'll tell you.
Do they like project the pictures into your eyes?
Oh yeah, do you see what it is?
Do you have to plug it in?
It's like a cell phone, only not. Okay? And so watch. This is a book, right? See? And what you do is you open it up like this. And there's all kinds of words, like texting.
But no pictures.
Well, it's like texting.
They smell weird also.
It's like texting without the...
They don't smell like comic books.
Without the emocons. You see, you make your own emocons where you're reading the book like, okay. But yes. So I love storyline, but this time travel crap is just enough. Enough of it.
Is he one-upping himself? Are the 90s back?
I don't think it was the 90s. I think it was late 90s
right now.
Early 2000s. No one ever I don't think it's that. I just think that everyone is trying to make everything bigger and bolder, like Doomsday Clock and everything else. Marvel is trying to set like this big epic thing when they don't really have to. People are just rejoicing the X-Men are back.
Yeah.
there's 11 lives and more Matagi, and everyone's on board. It seems okay, but mainly I just want to see the slugfest between Apocalypse and Nimrod. Make an issue. Make it just an issue of them beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And I'll buy that. Because I've been buying the issues as they've been popping up, and I just couldn't get past. It was just like, oh man.
So if they made a comic that's, what if they actually showed the fight?
Yeah, like the whole fight.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. But I can't vibe in this, man.
Mm.
Like it's not confusing. It's just like, oh, you can actually just see the MacGuffin, and everyone's like, oh, what's a cycle? I was like, you can see the MacGuffin, but the hype. That's hype.
I don't think you understand the hype. I don't understand the hype. I haven't read it. I've only heard about the hype. That's how hyped it is.
I'm being sued in a paternity suit by a magical chick and a She-Hulk that have been bouncing from multiverse to multiverse looking for my ass. You think I really want to deal with time and how it relates to multiverse?
Hype.
We've all seen what the hype does. We saw the hype for X-Men Dark Phoenix, and we all saw how that turned out.
I didn't watch it because it wasn't going to be good.
What about Thor in the Dark World?
That was weird. Like,
oh yeah.
Okay, so they had the Hellboy beginning and the Hellboy villains.
Yeah, I got one. I got one for the hype. Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that was a step back.
The Solo movie.
I didn't see it.
That movie sucked. The A.C. Crispin books are so much better.
I liked Rogue One. I really liked
Actually, I had no problem with that movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that all the X-Men movies were bad. Logan was good. I liked X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
I didn't like exactly everything they did with it.
Mm-hmm.
It was
like
decent.
killing Darwin?
Like fucking over Banshee, like in the other part that later came on. Mm-hmm. X-Men Apocalypse wasn't that bad. The actor they found for Apocalypse.
A lot of people really dumped on that movie. I really liked it. I thought they did Apocalypse well, which is hard. The comic books don't do Apocalypse well.
Nightcrawler, Angel, it was just a great series all the way through.
I love Nightcrawler. He's just happy to be there. It's like, hi, I'm Kirk Wagner. He's just introducing
that's himself. His personality. That's the whole reason I picked him.
Yeah, like even though he looks that way, he's more often than not comfortable with himself unless somebody calls it out. Then he becomes comfortable. Without it, most of the time he doesn't ever remember.
Yeah, I love his faith. Yeah, he's a great character.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about anything else in the X-Men, or should we carry this?
Okay, so there are part two. Actually, I do want to talk about two things. First off, we mentioned a little bit Professor X. He does some shady shit.
Oh, you mean Saint Xavier?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he does. The first X-Men team, which wasn't Cyclops, it was his brother and a bunch of other stooges. They got absorbed by Krakoa, and somehow Vulcan escaped, or he was sent up when they threw up the meteor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I feel like he's like the government himself. He's the government of the X-Men. So he gets funds magically from nowhere. I know he's rich, but he's he built a stealth. Well, he had a stealth fighter built that can go into space and travel through solar systems. He has a school that can be rebuilt all the time. It's just like his unlimited funds is quite interesting, but what you normally see is the good stuff of the X-Men sending out, trying to save the day.
I actually talked about this in What If Professor Xavier became Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Because Kane was jealous of Xavier for good reason. Even Xavier admitted he used his psychic powers to predict basketball games, so he knew where the dude was going.
Yeah.
Or, and Kane suspected that.
Yeah.
So Juggernaut's jealousy wasn't completely unfounded.
Mm-hmm.
He did cheat. To use his power, he cheated in college.
Yeah. I mean, he probably just cheats now.
Yeah. So I think that he just manipulates people on the side.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. I mean, but he does it for a good cause, I guess.
So, but a great example of there's a darker side to him is the Mystique comic, where he effectively bullies Mystique into doing jobs that he doesn't want to send the X-Men do, because you need to kill this mutant, or you need to go do blow this place up. And so it's just the X-Men are too goody two shoes. Like I can't send him to do that, and he's confessed that Mystique isn't the first one he's done that with. But
Well, there was a
she
whole
is
team X Factor that Forge led with Mesquite,
Yeah.
Sabretooth are on collars.
yeah,
They were like the Suicide Squad.
yeah, and like normally he uses his psychic powers to like pretty much make people believe that they should do this mission, but he can't do this with Mystique, which is the second mutant I want to talk about because Mystique can, with her shapeshifting, she can move her body parts around, so like she can alter her brain, and like Professor X can't mess with her brain because of it. So if there's a psychic around, she knows like, oh, I'm gonna shift things around, and like they can't tell me what to do, or they can't read my mind.
Well, in Wolverine Origins, I guess they sent him off as a killing machine, and Xavier wiped his mind and just took him.
That's a very Professor X thing to do.
His dark intentions became Onslaught. He had a crush on Jean Grey when she was a little girl. I mean, we can go on forever. Cyclops murdered him at one point, and then Red Skull took his brain, and
that happens.
became an Onslaught character. Like I said, comics are crazy, guys. That's one of the reasons we love them so much. You ought to see the way it is with the multiverse.
Yes, but
I had to deal with Cyberman version of Iron Man. It was horrible.
Mystique's a pretty cool character. So you know her
Beautiful,
base shape shifting powers, but she does have above human physical attributes because of the shape shifting. Like that's why she's so agile, and she is slightly stronger.
And in the movie, she
people.
she perfected sexy martial arts.
Yeah, that was interesting. It wasn't bad.
That's the term that I coined. Sexy martial
It's
arts.
just what she does. It's like, oh, I'm not going to grab your throat. I'm going to use my foot and push you against the wall while my legs are completely spread. It's like, you do you. If it's working for you.
I never wanted to be a government agent so bad in my life.
Oh, she's very flexible because of shape-shifting powers.
I never wanted to join the government so bad in my life.
She actually doesn't really need trained. You know, she just shape-shifts everything. She could shape-shift. She could look like anyone. She could talk like anyone. She could copy thumbprints and eye retinal scans.
She's fast as hell.
Yeah. She can, if she wanted to, she doesn't do this because being away from the base norm of a humanoid shape hurts her a lot. But there was a time where she had like two faces, one regular, but then one on the back of her head, so she could see behind herself. Yeah. And like she could pop out two arms. And so she could do stuff like that. Like I said, she avoids it because it really hurts.
I thought that was interesting.
And she can't do it for long. So if whatever reason she's doing it, you know, she kind of has to stop. And
Morph in the Age of Apocalypse was the opposite. He turned animate objects more than people.
Yeah.
His people form sucked. That was in the Age of Apocalypse, not the cartoon, so you don't get confused.
Yeah, and so like, but that's why like she doesn't turn into a chair, you know, like listen in to like people because she can't do that. But in theory, she could probably like make herself like elf ears to potentially hear better. She could probably alter the shape of her eyes.
Or pluck her ears off even if she needed to.
Yeah, she normally doesn't do that. I guess if she wanted to,
she has a slower regeneration too.
Yeah, she heals very well, but part of that might be she could potentially just move injuries. If you try stabbing her heart, she just moves her heart like right here. And yeah, it's just her power set's really interesting. And I guess in theory, like if she needed to see behind a corner, she could like grow an eyeball on her finger and just like go like this and look. If she really wanted to. Once again, I think that might hurt her a little bit, but if she does it a little quick, you know, it's like might not be a problem.
Yeah. And I don't mean to dump so much on Hickman. I mean, man's a genius. I mean, he's done wonderful work, but I just have no idea where it's going. I despise time travel, and I despise obvious MacGuffins. You can see where this part's going to be MacGuffin, this part's going to be the way out, or I don't know. It doesn't seem. I know everyone's in love with the mystery, or whatever mystery it is, but I just don't think that this is the right way to do it.
You know what? Maybe to end this episode, I want to make you a bet.
What?
I will bet you. Let's just go with $1. I want to play it safe.
$1. Do the trading places bet.
$1.
Watch that movie.
That at the end of this run, you're going to be pleased. Not like I'm okay with it. It's okay. I mean, it's like you're going to be like, obviously you're not going to be ecstatic, stoked, but like you're going to be pleased.
Let's say let's do a scale here. Like, pleased that I just got a 6-pack of Shining Brock, or pleased that Wonder Woman opened her shirt in front of me.
like from a scale of one,
or a lap dance from
from
Charlotte
a
Flair.
scale to one to 10, one being how you feel right now, I guess, or even worse than that. Oh, one being like how you felt about Endgame. Okay.
Watch
And
that video. That was a good one.
and 10,
Lap dance from Charlotte Flair.
sure. Let's go with that. So like because I'm thinking you're gonna be like a 6 or 7. 6 or 7 at the end of this. Let's go
Okay.
with 6.
You know what, dude?
You're gonna be pleased. You're gonna be
totally
more
biased.
happy than you're not gonna
You
be.
know that I'll admit when I'm wrong.
Mhm.
You know, and you need to watch the videos too, so you kind of understand.
All right.
And yeah, I'll take this bet, and we'll do that video
$1.
when it get trading places bet.
You see it. Shaking hands.
Yep, Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd right here.
A
Take your
sneaking
pick on who's who.
suspicion I'm going to lose this bet, but that's why.
Hey, I'll keep an open mind. Hickman surprised me before.
Mhm.
Okay. Although I didn't like how he killed the torch and then brought him back, but it was okay,
Yeah,
you know.
that's the problem. Superhero deaths, which the boys make fun against. It's an interesting dissection of comic books, but where it's like, oh, human heroes don't stay dead. You know, it's just like,
I'm telling you, dude, the only character they'll never bring back is Uncle Ben.
yeah, or like Peter Parker's parents, which when they do, people
Now that
get
we're
mad.
online, I want to say this and I want to call this now. Howard Stark, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., comic book series, or even movie with Captain America, 1955.
You know,
I keep preaching that, but I want to take credit for it in case Disney steals it from me.
Tony Stark did say that Howard Stark wouldn't shut up about him, Captain America. So having a little more than their little interaction, I believe in the plane and then like a little bit in a basement. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
that would be cool.
I would like to see like the birth of like the organization become the S.H.I.E.L.D. because he met Nick Fury. Because remember, Nick Fury is like, I know your father.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a great way to kind of introduce the X-Men.
So they
crossing
did.
into
They did have
dimensions.
a TV series where I'm brain for her name, Captain America's girlfriend that he eventually dated her
Oh,
daughter
yeah,
for like half a
Peggy.
second.
Yeah, that got
Yeah,
weird.
Peggy. Where it was Peggy being like one of the founders of Shield, except it's the 1950s or late 40s, and
That's what I was
it
saying,
was like
Captain America 55. I
they
know which one
they
you're talking
leaned very heavily into sexism, which makes sense back in the age of like, here's a strong woman who's like, no, this secret government organization needs to be this way, and all the guys like, give me a coffee. So it's just like, it was actually very understandable. It's a hard watch nowadays though, because like it
about.
doesn't,
Preachy.
yeah, it doesn't fit in now, even though like I believe it, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing and about sexism is X-Men had a lot of the first girl leaders.
Mhm.
Like how long, like Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel now, sorry, Binary, Captain Marvel, Warbird. It's hard for me to keep it all straight. Storm was a leader of the X-Men before any woman was the leader of the Avengers.
Mhm.
Or Fantastic Four, it's Reed Richards.
Yeah.
There was a certified, bona fide, badass
Yeah.
woman, African American woman.
Actually, just legit African.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything like now in perspective of what you guys are probably thinking, but back then, it was a wonderful step. She's badass. She has grace, intelligence. She can slap like a motherfucker.
You know, let's put it in perspective. So these hero groups, they don't have a true singular leader, but like JLA, you know, you
Mhm.
think Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman as the core
Trinity.
leaders.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, that's 2 of 3 are men, so it's just like that's not equal.
Shadowcat's been a leader. Wolverine's been a leader.
Yeah.
Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey,
Fantastic Four,
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards, like, yeah, he's the leader, but you know, it's like, Invisible Woman, she's the one who really keeps the team together. That's
She's
not
the
Reed
heart.
Richards.
She's the heart.
Yeah, and you know, it's just like, but she's not the
Well,
leader.
what about the other Fantastic Four? Wolverine, Hulk, Ghost Rider, and Spider-Man.
Mhm.
He only appeared for 2 issues.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's just, it normally doesn't end up that way. So, I mean, I guess one of the ideas with the X-Men is it is about being inclusive. You know, people use it as a
An
allegory to
yeah.
homosexuality, even though it was more about a civil
It's not
rights
just that,
thing. But
being part of another race,
Yeah.
being just an outsider.
yeah, And that's what helps make it timeless, because whatever the current social problem is, the X-Men are the comic books that relate to it. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, with, you know, women, getting more power or being traditionally oppressed, there's the X-Men where it's just like, Storm's the leader.
Emma Frost was a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
yeah.
this is the thing too. It's always for that anonymous nerd. And it back in the '90s, it was different. I used to get my ass kicked for wearing a Wolverine T-shirt.
That's
Now it's the norm. Okay. And
But specifically a Wolverine T-shirt.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Wolverine.
yeah, it was that classic T-shirt where you had the Punisher logo in between. When you first fought him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you were a geek and nothing back then. That anonymous nerd that looked at you and talked to you and you never gave a glance back, smiled at you, and then it disappeared, and then that person vanishes. Those people are the ones that kept writing everything now that you ass watches and your children watches. We took over the world. And it was through comics like X-Men,
mm-hmm.
Hulk, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Where these nobodies, these nothings, these castaways. And that's what makes comic books so relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Is the ability to take these castaways and make them something else.
Yeah.
And that's what X-Men means to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what and I keep saying my beloved X-Men. I keep saying that to you. Mm-hmm. Especially with X-Men. I feel like my beloved X-Men are in danger.
Yeah.
Because it's no longer about that. It's the message is getting lost.
Mm-hmm.
And through Xavier with all his faults, it was the idea that people can still coexist. Because, all right, the basic difference between back in the day, I don't know how it's going to be now with Hickman,
mm-hmm.
but back in the day, the
60s
core,
and 70s.
yeah, and 80s too.
Okay.
The core beliefs were Xavier did what he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
He was cruel to be kind. He did acts of cruelty for kindness.
Yeah.
Okay. Magneto did cruelty for cruelty's sake.
Yeah.
And cruelty begets cruelty. And that's why Xavier's dream was so important.
Yeah.
Not the man, but the dream.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel that we're losing as far as the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet half the fans can't recite Xavier's saying, "A dream worth having is a dream worth fighting for." And is the dream lost? And that's what I feel with this run. Has the dream lost? Has the message been erased? Has the word that we all grew up with, has the word been changed, erased? And is there only the argument? And that's my fear for X-Men, is that we're going to go and we're going to stray so far from that world. Mm-hmm. Because we need people that are naive. We need those dreamers. Wolverine even says that, that you need those people to look forward mm-hmm. for a better hope.
Yeah.
And I think we're losing that in this constant series to one up the other person, or to do multiverse things, or to just be cool.
Yeah.
Like, we're comic book geeks. We've never been cool. We make our own cool. Why should we give a shit about anyone else's cool?
I have a prediction. Not a prediction, but it's just a funny thought. The end of the Hickman thing, it's not going to be a dream sequence. It's not going to be a time travel thing. It's not going to be something awesome, but it's all going to be a danger room simulation. How would you like that? Danger room simulation.
I would just be like, I'd do it. Like, I could see that happening. I knew it. Or Xavier wakes up in a cold sweat, probably sleeping right next to Magneto, and just be like, "Go to sleep, honey." I could see that happening too. But no, I mean, like, that's the thing about X-Men. I feel that's getting lost.
Yeah.
More over than anything else. They're so wrapped up in this, so far off. They're not focusing on what made it so great.
Yeah.
In the first place. And I think you got lost with the Inhuman series and all of other, like, X-Men has lost their way, where they just like the X-Men Red and Black. That was cool. They're just random Avengers.
Yeah.
But the core of the X-Men, I feel, is starting to disintegrate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my main problem. Like, if Hickman brings it all together, I will be the first man to give that man props.
Yeah.
I would be the first man. But as it stands now, is the dream dead?
Yeah.
It's not even about Magneto being right anymore. Is the dream, the idea, the concept dead? Is it just another group of sci-fi mutants with no core values anymore? And that's what I'm afraid of. The message has been lost.
We need more Cyclops. That will fix everything.
Well, he's back to life, and it's so Wolverine, but we'll see what happens, in the world. But that's what X-Men means,
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was always for the outsiders. And that's my final thoughts on X-Men. What about you? You got any other thoughts on them? We'll probably
I
continue this
have
in
like a
part
few
two.
more hours, but like
Yeah,
I already
we
mentioned last
will
two I
be
want to
making
talk
we
to.
will be making a part 2 to this, so you'll be holding on to that. As always, this is the Comic Outlaw. This is Mr. Magnus. We've been traveling from place to place. This is our thoughts on X-Men currently, past, teams, just general talks on mutants, and let us know, do you think the dream is dead? Do you think the concept of what made X-Men X-Men is dead? Do you think that we're lost in a convoluted, multiversal scheme that just seems to lose the values of what the X-Men are? Subscribe, let us know. We will answer, and we will be making a part 2 to this, probably a part 3 when Hitman does the final thing. But yes, hit us up. Is the dream dead?
I have a dream.
As do I. That I don't get a paternity suit for Magic. But anyways, that's Magic from World 624. Yeah, I stole it away from Wolverine. So now, that too. But anyways, I am the Comic Outlaw. This is Magnus, and as always, we will catch you on the flip side.
Later.
Laters.